Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Welcome back to the show and welcome back to the state.
Yes, I'm running on 4 hours of sleep for the show today, but here I am. I told the people last week the show would be a day later than normal because I was going to come back and not have time to, or the energy to do the show. But I was like, you know what?
I just want to get this over
I
with.
just want to get it over with. It's like a Band-Aid. Just rip it off. I am exhausted, but I had a great time. Spent 5 days in Connecticut, 1 day in New York, camping, playing disc golf. Got up at 4 o'clock this morning to drive home and play 2 rounds of disc golf on the way back. What was it? We drove over about 1,000 miles of driving, over 50 miles of walking, 14 rounds of disc golf, and an untold quantity of alcoholic beverages were imbibed.
Well, that walking was good for you then.
Yeah, so we walked it off. I was reintroduced to the concept of the packy, or the package store. We're spoiled in Maine. When you really think about it, we're spoiled. You can go anywhere and get beer. You have to go you have to find, not that it's hard to find them because there are a ton of them.
Yeah, because alcoholism isn't an issue in America.
No, but they're everywhere. And they're all number one beverage stop. And at one point I'm like, they all can't be the number one beverage stop. There has to be a definitive winner somewhere.
Oh, I know where it is. I'll introduce you to it.
Oh, yes. The Grand Summer Road Trip Show.
Yeah. Okay, fine, you spoiled it. Yes, the Summer Road Trip Show.
This is as interesting a harebrained idea as we had since the year in review preview.
Bringing you to a liquor store the size of a grocery store.
Oh, we went to one of those.
What was it?
Phil's Super Beverage, I think was the name of it.
I was just curious if Joe Canals had expanded.
No, it was like Phil's Super Beverage or something. There was also the Black Rock Wine and Spirit store. That was actually quite extensive. They had a lot of variety and selection. We also went to this one, and my buddy bought a bottle of Captain Morgan because he was out at $40 for a handle. I was like, wow, that's a really expensive bottle of alcohol you just bought there. I'm going to stick with my Coors Lights.
Especially if you're just drinking it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also last night for dinner, got Yingling. Didn't bring any Yingling back this time. I still had some leftovers.
That's okay. Their CEO kind of ruined everything.
Well, still a delicious beer.
But I guess from there, let's get into the news.
Well, how was your weekend?
It was fine.
Did you do anything fun or exciting?
I went away. It's fine. My first weekend off in over a year.
You went away and you came back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I don't get to take breaks.
Anyway, well, now from my exciting trip to your depressing life, now we can go to the news.
Fantastic.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
News in the world of television, things we don't talk about a lot. But AMC has canceled Comic Book Man after 7 seasons.
Yeah, I saw that. I was browsing the internet in a hammock yesterday afternoon at a campground.
It's all just going to come back to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to find ways to tie it in. This is the me
find
show.
a way to listen to this for an hour.
Me.
Well, you didn't get a show canceled, but yeah, that show's all done.
No, I've tried real hard to get this one canceled, but we seem to be growing, so.
The one show on television that showcased comic book retail, I guess unless you count Big Bang Theory. No, I haven't seen it. No, I'm not going to.
No?
That was a thing that happened a lot when the store first was like, have you seen that show with that store? Like, vague. And then eventually I was able to figure out they were talking about Big Bang Theory. They all went about that way. Yeah, it's a bummer, but 7 seasons, really can't complain.
No, it's going to run its course.
Yeah, I mean, it was very dramatized. It was so funny. You would see, because I mean, all the people who came in to sell stuff all had to pitch it ahead of time to the producers and all that. It was very contrived. They didn't try to hide it, but it always was.
Well, that's what Pawn Stars is too.
Yeah, never seen it, but I'm just saying yes. I know what you mean.
No, people come in with some stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure they have to vet all that ahead of time, and it's not just guy off the street. Because if it was a real comic book store, it'd be someone walking in every 90 seconds with 18 copies of X-Men #1. Is it worth something yet? How about this Death of Superman? No. I see a lot of those. They're worthless.
Okay, just get that out there.
Yeah.
Oh, can we get a construction update? Because I've been gone for 5-6 days. I haven't driven by there. I knew that at one point you had no sidewalk.
Fine. I guess we're going to stop doing the news and do a different theme, then go back to the news, but we're not doing the theme again after that. So construction.
Can you dig it?
What's the state of the construction update?
See you later, you Doug.
Yeah, it got hairy for a couple days in there, but there's a sidewalk now.
Listen, I'm on 4 hours of sleep, man. I am so scatterbrained right now.
It's a real sidewalk. It's all done.
It's a nice brick, isn't it?
Yeah, they did one layer of paving. They're going to do another layer. Took a little while extra to get this side of the sidewalk done because they're idiots. They hit a water main,
Oh, no.
which then fried all the electric.
What?
That's just some of what happened in the last week.
Wow. A lot happened while I was gone.
So they also finished up the water at the other end of the street. Everyone's been running off of secondary water. So they filled all the main water back in, turned off the secondary water. Turns out they forgot to turn on the primary water. Had to dig it all out again.
So all that
turn
work
it
they've
on.
done, they had to
It
wow.
was a rough week. Yeah, they're idiots, but it's getting there.
That is a snafu.
But, I mean, as of the end of today, there's a full sidewalk out there, and they got to do one more layer of paving.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. The crosswalk isn't going to be right in front of me anymore. That makes me sad.
Where's it going to be now?
About 20 feet down.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because I've seen it a million times. Like, people who, like, tourists who are, like, walking the town, they're like, ooh. And then they hit to, like, this couple of stores ahead, like, and then there's that little gap, and they just turn right there. I'm like, no, I see you.
Come back.
You know, at least with the crosswalk, people were kind of forced to walk there.
Yeah, well,
So that's a bummer. The town wasn't thinking about me enough in this.
no. Well, maybe you should have stayed with the Chamber of Commerce.
Going back to the regular news that isn't about a sidewalk, let's just talk Spider-Man for a while.
He doesn't need sidewalks.
We'll break it all up. Spider-Man. Tom Holland revealed the name of the next Spider-Man movie. It's fine. Doesn't really matter. It's
What
called
was it?
Spider-Man Far From Home. Tom Holland has done some stuff where he's like, I'm just Facebooking living a thing. Like, here's a package I got from Mark Ruffalo. I wonder what it could be. Then he pulls it out, and it's like a poster facing camera. He's like, whoa, that's what the Avengers logo is. And he turns around, he's like, oh no, it says do not show anyone. Like, boy, you're a good actor.
Yeah, especially since they...
Also, why is Mark Ruffalo sending you posters?
Yeah, well, weren't they supposed to release the title of the Avengers movie, the next Avengers movie, and now they're not going to?
I don't know what they're doing with it. They talked a little bit about it this week. But yeah, so Spider-Man's next movie is called Spider-Man Far From Home.
Why not like Spider-Man on Titan as a pile of ash?
No.
Too wordy.
Long. I guess Spider-Man, how does he get that suit through customs?
Spider-Man foreign exchange student.
Spider-Man pat down. On the other side of Spider-Man, Sony, who still has all of those rights, they're going to be developing a Silk movie. That blank stare is warranted. It's a newish character.
Okay.
She came around in about 2014. She is, I believe, a Korean-American character. Her whole deal was she was bitten by the same spider that Peter was bitten by before it died.
In the same class trip?
I don't remember. And then,
That's a hardy spider.
and then the government found her and locked her up for 6 years and tried to train her as an assassin.
Oh, okay.
But I can buy this because basically you could just do Spider-Man without Spider-Man, but also add in more representation between Korean representation, female representation, all that stuff. But still, you could just tell a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm all for it. That makes a lot more sense than that Black Cat Silver Sable they were talking about.
Well, there you go.
You can literally just do Spider-Man. Kind of gets around that whole we want to use the character.
It really does.
So far they had Venom and Silk. Like, we want as close as we can get without getting him. Star Wars news. All kinds of Star Wars news.
Oh, please bring it. I love Star Wars news.
Disney came out and said that all of the future spin-off movies were on hold. And then they said, well, just there's nothing in development right now, which was always the truth. But all these movies that people talked about, like the Obi-Wan movie, Boba Fett, another Han Solo movie, none of these movies were confirmed. Those movies are about as confirmed as Merrick Garland was. We were told we were getting it, but it never happened. And you know what? In both cases, we'd probably be better off if they did.
Wow. You weren't holding back any punches there with that analogy. That simile.
Everyone likes confirmation humor.
Do they?
Reminds me of a church story I have.
Let's move on.
But speaking of the spin-offs that may or may not be on hold, rumor is that Obi-Wan is potentially going to be in Episode 9 as a Force ghost.
Really?
Rumor. Hardcore rumor on that one.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, with a capital R. Well, his name's with a capital E, but I mean
Yes.
the rumor part. It makes sense. Everyone likes him. Why not use him? And he also seems willing to do it.
He loves the character, and he's said multiple times he'd love to do it again.
Well, I've seen him say stuff like, I have to answer this question so many times that it almost sounds like at this point I'm just shilling Disney for a job. But it's just what everyone asks.
I would love to see him as a Force Ghost in Episode 9.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, and I don't think you really need to over-explain it. I mean, you could go with the special editions where we saw...
Hayden Christensen imposed.
And, I'll also roll the simple thing that we can't get Alec Guinness. And also that Alec Guinness wouldn't do it even if he was alive.
Yes, those are all very reasonable points. And it's not that I think that there's something to it that, because they did bring him back to, record that one line in Force Awakens.
One word.
One word, really. Rey.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm all on board.
I want to see an Obi-Wan movie. I want to get that confirmed, but if we don't, that's fine. It's just I like that it's been him 10 years out and you can get him be a little bit closer to the Alec Guinness version. I think that'd be a fun...
Which you really had closed in on quite a bit. Do you think they would do a lot of makeup on him to try and get him to look closer to that, or just really...
What, you mean... I was going to say like Looper with Justice Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis, where they packed on a few pounds of makeup.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think he would need to. I don't really care.
No, because he actually, looked decently similar. There were some things about him.
Yeah, I mean, just gray up his hair a little bit. I'd be fine with it. I'm not going to be like, hey, that guy isn't exactly like that guy.
Yeah, and what's to say, because again, the Force can work in mysterious ways, because the Yoda we got as a Force Ghost was totally not anything like the Yoda we had in the prequels.
Oh, I was going to say, he made off the same mold as the original one.
Yes.
Yeah, the prequel ones were awful. First it was an ugly puppet, and then it was ugly CG.
Do you know...
And then the ugly puppet was replaced with ugly CG.
Yoda's face design was a mix of Stuart Friedman, who created Yoda, and Albert Einstein.
Oh, that makes sense. What else we got?
Based on some of the Ralph McQuarrie concept art.
When Fantastic Four comes back in number 2, Franklin and Valeria are finally going to get code names. Franklin has been Franklin since the 60s. For a while, he was unnamed baby.
He was hanging out. He was hanging on for a long time and finally earned a name, I guess.
No, literally for like a year, they were just like, oh, that's a nice baby. And then they eventually named him Franklin. It took like a year. But yeah, it's not, they're getting names finally.
It's not how fast you can name something, it's naming it properly.
You need to name a baby within the first year.
Well, it's been more than 1 year. It's been like 50 years.
Oh, I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, since the Fantastic Four, yes. Well, he has a name now. Well, he's going to get a code name. Speaking of code names, not a segue, doesn't work. A while back, I talked about a mysterious X-Men book. They just called it like X-Classified because they couldn't reveal what it was, which I hate because it's hard to order when you don't know what you're ordering.
That's fair.
From a fan standpoint, I don't care, but from a retailer point, I'm like, I'm not going to give you money for just like mystery box.
Wouldn't that be kind of a fun
no
roulette wheel thing to do?
I hate that. No.
Not like from like a store ownership standpoint, but like there are things out there you can buy like a mystery box. You don't know what you're going to get in it, but
yeah, I've thought about doing that like a paperback. I've seen other stores do that, like buy this mystery box of books. Maybe you'll get a good one.
But in general, like just having fun with like you can like order things online, like a box of whatever, and you don't know what's going to be in it.
But so I
live on the edge a little bit.
I almost moved past the story because I forgot what it was. What it is going to be a Mr. and Mrs. comic. And spoilers for Who Got Married in 3, 2, 1. It was Rogue and Gambit. They're getting their own marriage book.
Seems to be going around recently here, and
Kitty and Colossus didn't happen, and they were just like, we're already here. We have the stuff.
Well, good for Rogue and Gambit.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to get the excited married adventures of Rogue and Gambit, Mr. and Mrs. Woo.
Mr. and Mrs. Gambit.
I guess LeBeau, unless Rogue keeps her own name.
She probably would. She could go Rogue.
Yeah.
Listen, don't roll your eyes. It's 4 hours of sleep.
Ninja Turtles 3 is happening, or isn't, but Platinum Dunes, that terrible production company that somehow has the rights, they are moving forward with a third Ninja Turtles movie, but it also just might be a full reboot. Full reboot. Just reboot it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
Please don't.
Don't watch them ever again. Don't continue with them. They're not good.
That may have been one of the worst movies you ever dragged me to in the movie theater.
Has it been? It might be. It's definitely a contender.
Name me a worse movie than that we went and saw at the movie theater.
Yeah, I could say at theaters, yeah. Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Justice League.
Ooh. No, we saw Justice League separately.
Okay, so you watched it for the show, but because we weren't sitting together, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
You know what I did today? Which it blew my mind. I ended up
tallying up how much money we spent on the movies.
No, I watched the final battle from Justice League on YouTube. It's worse than you remember because with the power of YouTube, you could be like, "Is that as wrong as I think it is?" Click back 5 seconds, and you're like, "Oh God!" Especially it's the lip. I mean, one, it's boring fight choreography, bad green screen, bad CG, bad acting, but the worst part is the lip. You could just watch it.
Are we back to Lipgate?
Just watching it not move. The worst is, I mean, it's a nice moment in the movie, but like Steppenwolf says something about like truth, and Superman flies down. It's like, I believe in truth, but I also believe in justice. Did you see how my lips moved when I said the word justice? Not just like not at all.
Yeah.
I watched it like 5 times and I'm like, his mouth just isn't moving. They just didn't do the word justice.
Again, remind me why they didn't shave his mustache.
Because whatever company, is it Paramount, that has the Mission Impossible movies, they said,
yes.
No, we have him under contract and we have a specific mustache clause.
And like, Warner Brothers couldn't buy out that clause?
No, apparently not. And they might have been able to clean it up better if they had more time, but they wanted to push the movie out before the end of the year so all the execs could get bonuses. If it went late, they weren't going to get it.
How did that work out?
Not well.
No, not well.
The movie underperformed.
Vastly underperformed.
And if it wasn't for Wonder Woman, I think they would have done a hard reboot already.
That movie had no second act.
And
really, there was no peril. Superman shows up and kicks Steppenwolf's ass in like 30 seconds.
Wonder Woman is a blessing and a curse. Good movie. That's the good part. The curse is it's kept these other DC movies going, because otherwise they just would have said, eh.
And now they're refusing to do a Flashpoint to reset everything.
It's Wonder Woman's fault. Damn you for having a good movie.
Again, they've got a custom-built reboot right in there. Flashpoint.
Yeah, but reboot Ninja Turtles. Don't keep going with that. Can't believe you're moving forward with another one as it is.
You know.
Then 2 more bits of news. I'm going to do the biggie.
Ooh, okay, please.
I'm kind of holding off on this one. Not sure if you saw it or not, but I put up kind of my first angry Twitter post ever.
Can I go look it up?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tweeted that much since then. I try not to tweet too much. But there was news this week that DC Comics has made an exclusive deal with Walmart to sell at least a year's worth of comics that are going to be exclusive through Walmart stores. So these aren't just Nothing Comics. We have Tom King, who's probably their best writer now. They have Brian Michael Bendis doing a thing like the return of the...
Brian Michael Bendis.
He has his own separate thing, but yeah.
Okay.
But like they have their top talent writing these books for Walmart. They're going to be like the return of the 100-page spectacular. They're like, this is so exciting. We're going to be able to expose our books to like more readers with this deal with Walmart. There's a big fucking problem with this.
Let's see. I am reading your tweet. Oh yeah. Good use of the word appalling.
Here's what the main issue is. And it kind of goes back to how buying comics and selling comics works. Everyone who sells comics goes through the same distributor. They have a monopoly. That's a whole separate issue, but, you know, it's what we all do. It doesn't matter if you're a small store, large store. GameStop said they were going to get into buying comics. It doesn't matter. Everyone is on the same playing field. You might have more resources. Like, I'm not going to be able to order variant covers. Like, if you order 500 copies of this book, you get the one variant. I'm not going to be able to do that, but we at least are all still on that same field.
Yeah.
And this one company, Diamond, holds the exclusive rights to publish DC Comics, which also means that Diamond is involved with the deal somewhere. So with DC going to Walmart, which is a mega corporation, and creating exclusive books for them that are in canon and with top talent, that's just 2 mega corporations jerking each other off. DC was just bought out by AT&T. They're not hurting for cash. This is preferential treatment based on corporation. That changes the landscape. That's an issue. I'm not going to say it's going to kill comics tomorrow, but it's a damn slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's also the thing I said in my tweet. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just really mad about this.
Oh, no. I'm
are
also compiling my thoughts and thinking.
These are names. Like, a lot of times, like, some people will follow characters, but then there's a lot of times like, oh, it's this guy. I will buy a book because of this guy. They are taking a lot of big names in the comic book world, and these are books they're already producing. If I was selling them, I would make that money just based on the name alone. And now, oh no, Walmart's going to get a couple extra bucks. It's not going to really affect their bottom line, but for me, it makes a huge difference. Every sale counts.
Yeah, and you've seen this kind of in the past with some of these like Walmart exclusive albums from artists and things like that you can only available at Walmart, only buy at Walmart. And they seem to do pretty well, but again, like you said, it's not necessarily good for the small realtors, the small retailers, the mom and pop stores, you know, for instance.
It's not even just me. It's anyone of any level. Because we all have to go through Diamond, we all get the same stuff. You can go through other distributors if you want, like, oh, I'm going to get more toys, so I'm also going to add this, like, other toy distributor. I'm going to get more shirts. I'm going to go through this.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, your main bread and butter, same guy across the board, which is its own separate issue, but it's not the one that I'm really mad about today.
Yes.
But, yeah, and I don't think I've ever been this guy, but I'm kind of going with a don't buy them. I'm not like boycott Walmart, but just these books are going to hurt businesses. And if they think that this is a viable source of income, then we're going to see more of this. You're going to see a total change of the comic book market, and not in a good way.
Now, I mean, so these are like Walmart exclusive books. So even like bookstores like Barnes and Noble who sell graphic novels, because eventually you're going to think that these books will all get compiled into either some sort of, you know,
I'm not sure
trade
what that looks like yet. Yeah, I don't know, because that's over a year out. But yeah, it's a major problem, and not just from my own business standpoint, but this could have some real big ramifications. Sets up a scary precedent for what the business could look like in the future.
Or they don't sell well at all, and
this is already a problem that we have with like there being too many or too few large corporations that are all just buying each other out.
But I can see what's going to happen.
I'm so excited. Walmart and AT&T get to give each other money, and I don't get any of it. Hooray!
But I can see what's going to happen now. It's probably going to be like a small section of the store where not only is it the books, but then right next to the books, you've got the characters. It's probably right in the toy section. It'd probably be like the toys and entertainment section. So kids are running down through the store, and then, oh, look, it's whoever action figure, and right next to it's the same book, and you draw them in that way.
And I saw some people arguing, it's like, well, I used to buy comics at Walmart, and I used to buy it. And I mean, my own first one we talked about, I got that at the grocery store, but they were still ordering the same way.
Yeah.
Doing this, the exclusive thing is where the main concern comes into, because if you can buy yourself past the system, you change it for everyone else.
I mean, so your big concern would be that these books...
I mean, I'm pissed I'm not getting the money. I mean,
Yes.
that's first and foremost, but the second part is, like, what is this set for the future?
And also, like, what if these books are really good and they sell really
The
well?
talent that they have on them, I don't know why they wouldn't be, but and I know people, like, really freaked out, like, going back to, like, 2008 when, like, Disney bought Marvel. They're like, all the books are going to be Disney-ified. I'm like, so all their parents are going to die. That already happened. No, they meant, but...
Yeah.
But I mean, Walmart's going to have approval on these. I can't think of anything more exciting than going through DC and Warner Brothers and AT&T and Walmart to decide the quality of book you're going to get.
Well, time will tell here what's going to happen, and
Don't buy them. Dollars matter, and if people don't pick them up, that makes a difference.
where your dollar goes matters.
Yeah, don't buy these books. I don't ever want to be that person, and I would never say it about, I don't know. I might say it like, this person's a terrible person, maybe don't buy their book. I might say that, but, I will hold those statements for what I feel are extreme circumstances.
That's fair.
But yeah, so there's that. That's kind of my downer for the week. It's a real crap story.
Womp.
But from there, we have Brian Michael Bendis news.
What is Bendis up to now?
We're gabbing about Bendis. It's this week's news about Brian Michael Bendis.
Bendis.
Oh, he's doing a thing.
Really?
When I read it, I was like, sure, why not?
Okay, go ahead.
He is introducing to comics possibly the most hated Superman character of all time.
Really?
Could you guess who it is?
The most hated Superman character of all time.
Who has never been in a comic book.
Who's never been in a comic book. So it was a character that was probably on TV or a movie and was hated. I don't know.
It's Nuclear Man from Superman 4.
Ugh.
Gets cloned from a piece of hair that's thrown into the sun, comes out wearing a leotard, and he has sharp nails. I think that are painted.
Ugh.
And he has very little dialogue, and for whatever reason, all of his dialogue was done by Gene Hackman, just like lowering his voice if you listen back to it. And I don't recommend you do, because it's a terrible movie, and for the rest of my life, I've seen it once or twice. That's more than enough. I'm never going back.
That's Quest for Peace, right?
Yeah.
That's the one where he lifts the White House up.
I don't remember. He gets all of the nukes, gets them into a net, throws them into a sun.
A sun or the sun?
The sun. Throws all the nukes into the sun, puts them in a big old net in space, and chucks them.
Good for Spidey. Superman, whatever. 4 hours of sleep.
It's like Amazing Spider-Man 3 all over again. Dr. Octopus called Spider-Man Superman.
Yes.
It's funny. Because, Stan forgot the name of his character.
It happens.
But yeah, so that's the Bendis news. He's bringing Nuclear Man in, who is a big pile of mullety crap.
Is he better than Man-Bat?
No, of course not. Man-Bat's way better.
Is he better than Plant-Man?
I don't think anyone's better than Plant-Man.
You are soundly mistaken. Most everyone is better than Plant-Man.
Just so you know, it might not be soon.
I know that we're going to do a Plant-Man.
A whole Plant-Man episode, an extravaganza. The only reason that we haven't done it yet is that means I have to hunt all those issues down.
Good, I hope it takes you a long time.
I
hope they're Walmart exclusives.
They can have them. Once they're together like a Plant-Man omnibus. But that does it for regular old news. I'm going to say regular old news. I guess that Merrick Garland one was the only year-old topical reference I made. But in the world of pop culture, that's the news.
There you go.
So it's time now for Jared's sports reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
I'm going to be really honest. I spent the last 5 days in the woods of Connecticut. I really have no idea what's going on in the world of sports.
LeBron has until Friday to decide if he's going to be a free agent or not.
Oh, that gives him a couple more days. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other things I know off the top of my head. The Celtics were looking at some European players and closing in on a couple of deals with a couple of stars from Europe. I don't really have anything else outside of that, to be perfectly honest.
Happening with hockey.
No, there's no hockey right now.
There's a million baseball games that don't matter.
They all matter. They're starting to get to the dog days of summer. The Sox and Yankees are battling it out for first
place. How's the World Cup going?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that's going on. They're just about to the round of 16. They're starting the elimination round soon. So you still got 2-3 weeks of the World Cup to go. But there's no United States team in it. So
everywhere I go, I just see a few seconds of it.
Yeah. So the World Cup is in
0-0.
World Cup is in full swing. England got stomped the other day by some team that wasn't Europe. Not Europe. United Kingdom,
Europe,
the UK, England.
The whole of Europe.
Yes, which is pretty much everyone in the World Cup. I actually watched the World Cup match right before I went on vacation and saw Argentina lose to Slovakia, I want to say. I don't know.
I forgot what LeBron did. I think it's like he either has to like take $36.5 million or he becomes a free agent. But
he'll get like either a max contract offer or he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which means that he might not necessarily get a max contract somewhere.
Yeah, but he was telling people not to like meet with him, give him like all these big like showy presentations. He's like, I don't care.
He's probably already made his mind up. That's probably
what that means. If he's saying like, don't bother pitching me, it probably means he knows what he's going to do.
It's either going to be Los Angeles or Philadelphia, maybe Houston, but probably
I can't imagine Houston.
He's going to probably end up with the Lakers.
I can see that. Like, we need something, dear God. We're terrible right now.
It'd be real interesting to see if he goes to a Western Conference team. He's never played for a Western Conference team.
No.
So that like leads me to believe that it probably will be Philadelphia.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of speculation around that. But who knows? I guess he knows. He's the only one who knows right now.
Wherever he goes, that team is probably going to be in the finals next year, so.
Yeah, there's a fair chance. I just tried to stimulate a little conversation there with the little I knew from the week. Because I don't really pay attention to the draft.
But you know what? You knew more than I did this week.
The draft doesn't really affect me because I don't watch any college ball.
Yeah.
So when they're like, oh, so-and-so's going to this team, I'm like, never heard of them.
Well, we'll see what they can do when it comes time to play.
Basically.
Yes.
And then I read like they're like, oh, this guy's good for like XYZ. I'm like, cool, never heard of him.
Can he play the basketball?
And that's what the draft is to me. Nothing. Don't know what to
Most
do.
of those guys are going to end up in the D League anyway. Or the G League, sorry.
Okay, if that's all you have, I guess.
That's all I really have. I mean, I can...
No, it's okay. You have what you have. You took a weekend off.
I did. I went and enjoyed my life. College World Series is going on.
Which was outside of sports for once.
No, that's about it.
All right, I guess from there, we are moving on to Jared's Sports Report. Wait, nope, just did that one. I guess from... Blah, 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 blah. We're doing Jared's Reading Corner. You have too many segments after your name. Too many.
Too many segments after my name or named after me?
Whatever.
Get it together. I'm the one on 4 hours of sleep.
I'm drinking tea. It's not even like slurry boost speech.
No, it's like real poor...
English words.
Whatever. Yeah, very...
Theme. We're playing the theme.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
Okay, the theme's over.
Yeah, it's very dyslexic what you're doing.
Okay, continuing. Great.
Right.
Next week in the world of comics, big exciting wedding issue. Batman's getting married. Unless it goes as well as Kitty and Colossus's wedding.
Did you get invited?
No, DC sent out a bunch of invitations too. I didn't get one.
Well, that sucks.
I know, I was a little pissed.
Well, sorry.
I'm just mad at DC this week, clearly.
Yes.
And AMC. It's a bad world to be a shop owner this week.
You're mad at acronym companies.
Apparently. But yeah, Batman is getting married next week, and Batman number 50 is supposed to be a big issue. But to celebrate that, we're going back to DC's, I guess not their last big marriage, but the big marriage of their other main character.
Superman.
Thanks for clearing it up.
I'm here for you.
We are doing the Superman wedding album, because it's called a wedding album for some reason.
Well, I'm going to just lay it right out there.
I've never read this before until we were going to do it for the show.
And I'm going to give an honest, upfront review. It was boring.
Super boring.
Like, massively boring. Like, yeah, I get this is a big deal that finally Superman and Lois Lane are getting married and writers and artists from multiple runs of the book were working on it all together, but it's just like there was no action. There was nothing. It was just like it was like an episode of like reality TV.
I'm more interested to follow them in October on their honeymoon.
Oh, their honeymoon, I guess, is like stuff goes down on their honeymoon.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Well.
Listen, the early to mid 90s is a pretty big black hole for me in terms of most comics. Superman, I've done like the seminal of like Death of Superman and the trial and all that crap. But for the most part, I didn't read a lot of 90s Superman. And then looking at this, I was reminded why.
The only really good part of it was probably when Batman and Superman have their conversation on the rooftop.
Well, my favorite, I actually really like how this book opens. Lois is somehow like got herself involved with this drug dealer and she's wearing a wedding gown and they're like, oh my God, is this the marriage? But then she just beats up a bunch of gangsters with a champagne bottle and a cake and just...
a heroin-filled cake.
Well, she hits the cake with a bottle, and somehow hitting a cake with a bottle takes the entire cake out and takes out a gangster. And then she's like, I'm running this plane now. I'm the captain now.
I am the captain now. No, look at me. I am the captain now.
And then I'm reminded of terrible 90s Superman mullet.
With ponytail.
I hated his mullet. It's one of those things, I'm pretty forgiving of like most comic stuff. Of like, oh, it's of the time. I have never accepted that mullet.
What made him think he could go out into public like that? Period.
Well, it even made it worse. It's like, oh man, Clark Kent and Superman don't look anything alike. Now they both have dumb mullets.
Well, one has a ponytail.
Yeah, that was the difference. So it wasn't just, glasses off. Now it's glasses off, mullet down.
Ooh.
I know, mixing it up.
Let that hair
and then they both get a haircut at the same
flow
time.
freely.
Like, gee, whoever could Superman be? Yeah, and I didn't know this because, again, 90s. I didn't know that Superman and Lois had been broken up for like a year.
Oh, yeah, a year-long breakup. And he also lost his powers.
He does that all the time. That affected me less. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a Tuesday.
I didn't understand why he lost his power, because the sun went out.
Was that the explanation? I didn't even remember.
Something like that, yeah.
You know what the real problem with a book like this is because this is such a mediocre book, which one is a little bit hard for because it's a lot easier to be like, this is terrible or this is amazing. When it's kind of in the middle, it's like, yeah. The way we do the show is I have to read everything a week ahead of time so I can give it to Jared to read.
Yes.
And I had to go to Wikipedia today to be like, what the hell happened?
Nothing really happened. There was nothing.
I needed a Wikipedia refresher because it did not.
You know what the most action in this book was? The only real fight in this book was the biker gang who drove their bikes into the guy's bar for Superman's stag
Bibbo.
party.
I love Bibbo. He's a great supporting character. He's got a big, thick accent and there's this huge, jacked bartender. He doesn't get used enough in modern Superman comics, but I love Bibbo.
Yeah, but his bar gets ripped up.
It does. I love that there's a big bar fight. And I love the whole, Lois's father, Sam Lane. He's always, real uptight guy, yada, yada, general. And he's never gotten along with Clark. But especially more in, probably not terribly long after this, but you see him as more of career military. And this you kind of just see him as like a fat idiot.
Kind of a D-bag.
Well, yeah, he wasn't like, he's a character that you can see like why they have a strained relationship, but it's understandable. This is just like, look at this fat idiot.
Yeah.
Likes to lie about his waistline.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Jonathan Kent, who's just kind of a bumbling fool.
At least he didn't lie about his waistline when they're getting fitted for tuxes. Because, oh yeah, by the way, they end up getting married. So, the whole thing's a rush. And there's nothing more exciting than watching the step-by-step process of putting a wedding together. By the way, they do... That's what you say. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
But by the way...
Yes.
Yeah.
Weddings take more than a month to put together.
This all happened so fast because he wasn't even thinking.
And they also do house shopping, and they have to go get fitted for everything. You can't do this in a month.
And have their bachelorette and bachelor parties.
And they both suck.
And
they're so boring.
Lois doesn't know that Superman doesn't have his powers.
There are moments in this book that really work for me. There's one in particular, Superman has a limited amount of his powers, and he has to go save people from a burning building. Like, he just can't not do it. Like, he's willing to sacrifice himself. I like that moment. That was a good moment.
Yes.
And then, because it's the 90s, and I can't really complain, it's what he is, animated series Batman shows up, because it's what he looks like, and acts like, and sounds like. I really can't blame him for doing animated series Batman, but that's who shows up.
No, but I thought that was like the stronger part of the...
Yeah, I like him. He shows up, beats up a bunch of crooks because Superman can't fight them all off because of the loss of his powers.
Well, the one guy did goon Superman from behind with a giant rock.
But Batman shows up, he's like all in silhouette. It looks just like the kind of like use of shadow that would be done in the animated series. And then Batman's like, oh yeah, that apartment that Lois wanted. Because they're also buying apartments. He's like, yeah, I just bought the building. You have it now.
Typical Bruce.
And Clark's like, how did you know about this? He's like, bitch, I'm Batman.
It's also a good point. That's a direct quote from the book.
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm Batman.
That'd make that... There's...
Also, you get a nice splash page of all sorts of like B-level DC heroes that have been called in to protect Metropolis when Clark goes on vacation.
I like that, yeah, that the whole Justice League shows up to just protect Metropolis and so it can go away. Back like 2005, Frank Miller, after he had gone crazy, 1997 is kind of the demarcation point for him. Too much cocaine, it's a thing. He did this whole run of Batman books that never got completed, and he got a lot of flack for Batman would just yell at people all the time. Well, first he yelled at Robin. He's like, what are you, goddamn retarded?
You can't say that to Robin.
Yeah, I think he just said, he said, are you fucking retarded? Sorry, my mistake.
You still can't say that to
yeah,
Robin.
I know.
Doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, like I said, Frank Miller went crazy. And he kept on just saying, I'm the goddamn Batman, and everyone hated it. I wonder if people would have such
I'm the goddamn Batman.
Yeah, I wonder if people would have such a visceral reaction if he said, bitch, I'm Batman.
I mean, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
I don't know, it's just less aggressive.
I'm Batman, bitch.
No, it's a bitch, I'm Batman.
No, I think it'd be better if it was like, I'm Batman, bitch. It's better than, bitch, I'm Batman. No, either work.
The art, because this is done by a number of people, the art is all over the place. Some of it's great, some of it's terrible. I'm not a big fan of jam books, which is...
Yeah, because it's multiple artists and writers.
It doesn't flow, and unless it's like a creative team that you're a fan of, you're like, oh, I see them for like these couple of pages. Then the rest of it, you're like, don't care. Yeah, I don't like jam books, but that's just me.
And then like the last couple pages are like...
A very rushed wedding.
Very rushed wedding, but it's all like people who've worked on the Batman books.
Are in the crowd and all that.
Oh, the priest is Jerry... I'm trying to think who co-created Superman.
Joe Shuster.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Joe Shuster.
Jerry Siegel.
Yeah, it's Jerry Siegel. The priest is supposed to be Jerry Siegel.
And then, thankfully, at the end of the book, Clark cuts his damn hair. Friggin' hippie. And then the last page, which is, a fun little trick, something you can do in comics. They have it be a fold-out page. So
that was nice.
I mean, it's nice, but it's also weird. I see Louise Simonson in that group shot. We see Lois and Clark kissing, and then above them we see, it's a superimposed image, essentially, of Superman and Lois kissing. But you see Superman with a ring, which is really nice. And you see the flowing red cape of Superman behind him. But then what's weirder is then there's another more close image of them kissing again. So you get 3 kisses in one page, same kiss.
Same kiss, but it's like taking place just like in like
What's
3
the
different
point of this
forms.
third kiss? The one that's just the close-up of the face inside of his cape.
Zooming in.
I'm not against the two of them. I get that. You're seeing both sides of Clark and all that. But what's the point of the third kiss?
To fill the space on the cape.
Cool. Do something better. And why are some of these people in the crowd aware of, the camera, so to say? A lot of them are just making eye contact.
They're just like, oh, look, we're going to look at the camera and not
artist.
the couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that really got me, there's a woman. The woman right there.
I have no idea who that's supposed to be.
I don't know who she is either, but she's really not paying attention to the wedding.
No. Yeah. I guess I'm really looking forward to next week with Batman because that will be a singular vision.
Yeah. This was the thing. It happened. They got married.
It's weird. It's such a key moment, but it's such a nothing but.
See, here's my thing. Nobody remembers the wedding. Everyone remembers the reception, and we don't get to see the reception. I want to see Jimmy Olsen dancing around. I want to see Superman doing a keg stand. I want to see, I don't know.
I also like how Lois's daughter Lucy is dating a black man, and he's like getting really concerned because he's seeing like his her dad yell at Clark. He's like, oh God, like if he's like that with Clark, how is he going to be like with his daughter dating a black man? She's like, oh, it's fine. He hates everyone equally.
Kind of like you.
I thought that was a funny line.
Wow.
Like he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He just hates everyone.
Maybe you're Lois Lane's father.
Yeah.
I think like for nostalgia and history, it's worth a read. But if you're like,
I don't. It's just what
like, oh, I'm bored and I want to read some Superman. Don't read this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get more bored. I wouldn't recommend reading this. It's they get married. There's nothing interesting about this.
Yeah, it doesn't really set anything up other than the fact that they're married.
Couple of good pages, but this goes on. This is a long, long book.
It was laborious and boring.
Yeah, and just the length of it doesn't help. I get that they like put this together because it's the 90s, so you have to have a gimmicky thing of it. It's, its own special thing, and it has its own special stock paper and all that crap in it.
The embossed logo on the front.
Yeah, and all that. It's the 90s, man. But at least it wasn't overly extreme.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what we have. I'm really looking forward to Batman getting married. I hope it's a better issue than this because this was nothing.
Come on, somebody's gonna crash the Batman wedding. He can't have anything nice. He cannot have nice things.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Cacophony, onomatopoeia is gonna show up.
So one of them's a sound. One of them's a character that won't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my recommendation is don't. Sorry, this is a boring one.
Yeah,
you don't know until you go into it.
True that.
From there, we're moving on to letters to the editors.
Now for my favorite part of the show. What'd that say? Talk to the audience? Oh, God, this is always dead.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Interesting question this week, because I don't think we'll have a singular answer. What is the most overrated comic book movie? A lot of them.
Yeah.
Going back a ways, Batman 89, way overrated. It hasn't aged well.
Come on, I don't think so.
It's pretty. The pacing on that is terrible. That weird moment of Keaton be like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Nicholson's weird makeup. Like when it has that like permanent grunt, so he always has that prosthetic on. It's a weird movie.
Just because it's weird doesn't mean it's overrated.
Yeah, I think it is though, because I don't.
You think Batman Returns is better?
No, I think it's worse. I just think again, when I say basically on all these movies, if I think they're overrated, I still think they're good. There is a difference.
You don't think they should be like held in like the pantheon of?
I think it's of its time. There's some great atmosphere in there. I love the Batmobile design. I love the score. The score is amazing, but I'm never super drawn to it. And it's also one of those movies that, like, if you sit down and watch it, a little ways in, you're just kind of hoping, like, man, let's pick up the pace here. Let's get to the end.
You make a compelling argument for it. You really, really do. I'm racking my brain here and thinking.
I got a couple more, and it'll probably be my real answer. More Batman. All of the Dark Knight movies. Grossly overrated. That's probably the one I feel the strongest about.
Yeah. And of the three that are the most overrated, probably Batman. I would say probably Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight is actually pretty good. Dark Knight's a really good movie. It's a good superhero movie.
Keep in mind, I like this movie. I think it's good. People treat it like it's God, and it's really boring. It's accolades of that movie. There's a bunch out there. Like Heath Ledger's Joker, everyone does. And I like the redesign of the bat suit. I like getting rid of that stupid tank. I like the prosthetic for Two-Face, I think is great. I like the Joker lying to Batman about like you have two choices and he switches them. I think that's a great little thing. I like the opening scene of just seeing Batman taking down one of his villains, of having it be Scarecrow. So there's a lot to like in there. I like a lot of the practical effects. I think that has a really good design to it. It's shot really beautifully. I don't like the way the entire thing is shot because the aspect ratio when you're watching it changes constantly in between film and IMAX. And it's really distracting when like every scene, like you're just seeing like no black borders, black borders, no black borders, black borders. It's a pain in the ass.
Kind of snaps you back and forth.
Batman's not a detective. He has that one stupid thing of the bullet would have a fingerprint. No, it wouldn't. A casing would though.
Yes.
So that's like to try to have one scene of him being a detective. It makes no sense.
He's the world's greatest detective. Come on, man.
I hate that they say like the Joker's an agent of chaos, but everything he does would take months of planning and preparation. Like I just filled an entire hospital full of explosives. You think you could do that on a random Sunday? That would take forever. That would take months of planning. If they just thrown a line.
But does he look like a guy who has a plan?
Yeah. He does, because he has one. Also, everything that happens relies entirely on coincidence.
Yes, we don't have to dig into this.
But yeah, it's an overrated movie. The whole trilogy is overrated. They're all kind of boring.
I'm trying to think of
But I like them. But I'm never like, I'm in a good mood. What do I want to watch? The Dark Knight movies.
See, I'm trying to think.
All that dialogue too, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
You either die or see yourself become the villain, or you don't. Just talk like a person.
Yeah. Spider-Man 1 and 2, like the Sam Raimi ones, those are good. They're not overrated.
I don't think they are.
No. Spider-Man 3.
Some of Spider-Man 1, it still has some like that weird scene with Mary J. Blige is weird.
The Earth Day Festival or whatever.
The Green Goblin.
Some of the Goblin stuff is kind of
that weird scene where he ties him up and doesn't take his mask off. There's one moment I really like where it just kind of like slaps him in the head and leans back.
Yes.
That's funny. But
there's a lot of green in that movie too. Whenever Norman Osborn's on the screen,
he hams it up, and sometimes it just goes a little bit too far.
A little too far.
I think it's a good movie though.
But Spider-Man 2 is the best of the Spider-Man movies. That's a great comic book movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, there are moments in that one that are silly, but it's overall very good. I don't think that one's overrated. I think it's probably rated as it should be. That's just me personally.
Superman 4.
No one has ever said that was good. It's not underrated or overrated. It is perfectly rated.
Do you think Superman the movie is a little overrated?
No.
No?
No, not at all. There's so many cuts of that movie that exist now. Like, not that long ago, they released like a 3-hour cut, and I'm like, I'm going to watch it.
Wow. But it's like, it already felt long as it is. There's a lot that happens in that movie.
Yeah, it's not a super well-paced movie, but I don't think it's overrated. I think that movie gets the characterization more than any other Superman we've ever seen, at least in live action.
What about the first Turtles movie?
I'd say the second Turtles movie is overrated.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
That's a piece of crap.
Yes, 100%.
No, I don't think the first one's overrated.
The second one definitely is overrated.
I think the first one is underrated, and that mostly comes back to, we've said it on the show before, that I don't think people realize how that was like the first adapted comic book movie. So no, if anything, I think that movie's a bit underrated because people just look at it as like, it's like the cartoon and it's the 90s.
There you go. You answered the question. I really didn't give a solid answer, but whatever. I'm on 4 hours of sleep.
So your answer was Ninja Turtles 2 is overrated?
Yeah.
People are like, it's such a great movie. Oh man,
there's some fun things. I like it.
You remember it when you were a kid? It has Vanilla Ice. It's such a piece of crap.
Toka and Razor.
I love their design.
Have fun.
Hate what they do. They have a great design.
Yeah, but they don't do anything.
Boring and terrible.
Yes.
Same with Super Shredder. Great design, boring and terrible.
He's also in the movie for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, I guess the answers are Batman 89, all of the Nolan movies, and Ninja Turtles 2.
There.
Men in Black is probably overrated too.
The first Men in Black.
I haven't seen it in a while. So
Men in Black 2 probably a little bit.
I'm probably talking out of my ass on those. I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, no, the first Men in Black's cool. It does some world building. Men in Black 2 is kind of Men in Black 3 is really stretching, but
at least I remember that because it's only been a few years. I remember nothing about Men in Black 2. I remember there was like a dog. Kay was working at a post office.
Yeah, because Kay was neuralized.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson made a cameo.
Yes.
That is about what I do not remember the plot.
Yeah, Rip Torn was in it.
Yeah. I love his stage name.
It's a great stage name.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll do it. I wonder how many people unsubscribed because I said bad things about the Nolan movies.
No, nobody's going to unsubscribe because of that.
Oh, because of that.
Yeah, there's plenty.
What about that Merrick Garland one?
Yeah, that's probably more.
That'll get him.
That may be more.
You guys remember Merrick Garland? No? Yeah, neither does anyone else. It's been a long year.
It has been. But you know what would make the year better?
Signing up for Patreon?
Yeah,
I got a bunch of stuff going on there right now.
Oh, really?
I keep forgetting to mention.
So if you go to patreon.com/editorsnotecomics, you can get a variety of cool things for just a small monetary donation.
I mean, any amount gets everything. I'm not doing tiered on stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now, every week, I think I mentioned it once, and then I haven't mentioned it since. I've been doing it for like a month and change now. I've been writing up like my top 5 favorite books of the week.
Yep.
There are going to be a few Buffy exclusive review ones. The first one is out already. There's going to be at least 3 others of those over the next couple of months. You get the show a whole day early, and the other show, the Buffy back issue, been a whole week early, which is coming back for 5 consecutive weeks pretty soon.
What about the Duke of the Podcast?
Oh yeah, and if you do $5, you get your own little soundbite for the show.
You can become Duke of the Podcast.
We already did that one, and no one new has signed up for it. Come on, guys. There's been a lot of construction this week. Help me out.
Could be a good Duke. Anyway, if we want to stop by the store, check out the new sidewalk, 210 Water Street in Hullville.
You can actually easily get into the store, which is a nice change.
What about the raffle? When's the raffle drawing?
End of this week.
Oh, end of the week?
Yeah, and then there'll be a new raffle.
Ooh, what's the new raffle prize?
I like this one. This is probably my favorite of the raffling items that I'm doing. And I'm not doing any more of these because they have... Whatever, I won't get into it. But Jack Kirby's Grants has been putting packages together for stores to buy, and this last package had a book that was previously owned by Jack Kirby. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it was like the science fiction periodical that he bought. And there's a little bit of like him underlining some stuff in there and whatnot. And there's a letter and a stamp in it, like giving your authenticity. But yeah, so something from Jack Kirby's personal collection will be going up for auction.
By auction you mean raffle?
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, wrong word.
That's quite the raffle prize.
Yeah, and I think it was like $1 for a raffle ticket or 10s for 5.
There you go.
So so I get something that was personally owned by Jack Kirby, which I think is pretty cool.
That's very cool. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, so that's going to be going throughout the entire month of July, and I'll be doing a drawing for June, the Batman #1 Treasury Edition from the 70s. I'll be drawing that at the end of the week.
And Old Hallowell Day is coming up in a couple of weeks too, so
yeah, that'll be a thing.
That's a big thing.
Beyond that, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all Editors Note Comics. Everything's at the website, editorsnotecomics.com. And you're a tweeter. You're a little bit of a tweeter, not a twitcher, just a tweeter.
A tweeter at Junior Rich.
You should get your own Twitch stream. Like, I never play video games. You guys want to watch me not do well?
Yeah. Get my own Twitch stream and just like Twitch the show.
Sounds really boring. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Oh, for our 4th of July show.
Ooh, Captain America, baby.
Oh yeah, I haven't decided which terrible movie we're doing, but we're doing one of them.
Star Spangled America.
They're all no good. They're all terrible. We'll see which terrible one we're doing.
Can we watch more of the whiskey and steak guy?
No, he's dead. We already reviewed that.
Oh.
I believe where we left off, there was a piece of machinery going to run over his head.
Oh yes, and that's about where I stopped watching.
Yeah, me too. We'll be back next week because it's 4th of July, baby.
Star Spangled Banner, baby. Woo!
Bye.